Good Sunday morning, everybody. Chris here with High Seas Cruising, and today we're going to do something a little bit different. You see, on Saturday, I do a little show where I read cruise comments and we discuss and talk about those particular comments. And we always ask the question, are they right? Are they wrong? Does everybody actually agree with them? Well, today I want to answer some of those questions. Are they right? Are they wrong? And does everybody agree by looking at some surveys that were done on specific topics written in to Carnival Cruise Line's brand ambassador, John Heald, where the people say, poll this, question this, ask everybody. They'll all agree. Well, for a lot of these questions, he has done exactly that. And we're going to find out whether these people are right or whether these people are wrong. Is their sense of entitlement one that everybody feels? If it's something that they don't like on a cruise or they don't think should change, does everybody agree with them and want it exactly the same? Well, let's find out today with a little bit of cruise surveys. Now, starting off today, we are going to talk about Elegant Night on board Carnival cruise ships. And that is a night where those that want to get dressed up and put on the tux, put on the suit and tie, ladies want to put on the beautiful gowns and go have dinner in the main dining room. Now, that is a cruise tradition that is slowly fading away on your mainstream cruise lines. Of course, if you sail on Cunard or luxury cruise lines, that is something that's still strictly enforced for the attire in the main dining rooms. But on your mainstreams, it's getting further and further as a thing in the past. But not everybody wants to change. Not everybody likes the change or agrees with the change. And sometimes they have suggestions that maybe if you do this, it will make me happy. So our first question is going to be, Carnival should divide the dining rooms to those that are properly dressed on Elegant Night and a separate dining room for those who refuse. So two different dining rooms, one for those that want to dress up and one for those that don't. So the question is this something that cruisers really want? Do they want to separate it out? Do they want to have two different dining rooms? And if they could choose which dining room they want to go to, where do you think the majority of people would want to go? Fancy or casual? And here is your answer. Now, these surveys, they don't give it by numbers, okay? But you can see that clearly here that if Carnival did divide the ship at dinner between those dressed properly, formally, and those who preferred casual dress, I would be found in the casual dressing dining room. So just from those answers alone right there, more people want to dress casual. Now, I will never understand why what somebody else is wearing in the dining room can affect your meal so much. Is the fact that someone's wearing a hat in the dining room ruining your dinner? The fact that maybe they're wearing a pair of jeans in the dining room affecting your dinner so much that you can't enjoy it and your cruise is just ruined? Because people write that in. They say that my cruise is ruined because I saw a pair of jeans being worn in the main dining room. Now, jeans are the second half to this survey question because the question was asked, if somebody wore a pair of jeans into the main dining room, it would bother me and ruin my dinner. And of course, there was a survey done on that too. And you can clearly see from the survey that if I saw somebody wearing a pair of jeans in the dining room on Elegant Night, it certainly would not bother me or spoil my enjoyment of the dinner and the time I had with my friends and family. But there are a couple people that did vote that it would bother them. It would affect their dining experience. Why? How does what somebody else wears affect your dining experience? You're sitting at a table with your family. You're sitting at a table with your friends, whether it's in a circle, looking across from each other. You look over to the other side of the dining room and see somebody wearing a pair of jeans way over there. And somehow that has affected the atmosphere and the meal at your table. Never understand why it bothers people so much. But if you are the type of person that wants that elegant, that fancy dining experience, be my best suggestion that you look for a cruise line that is still traditionally a part of. Because for your mainstream cruisings, for your Carnival, your Royal, your Norwegian, That kind of dining is slowly fading away. Right. Next up, we're going to talk about pier running because the people write in and they say that you should not be allowed to laugh and jeer and whistle at pier runners, those that are late arriving back to the cruise ship while in port. Now, one, I don't exactly know how you would stop a ship full of people from cheering over the side of the ship to start with, but yeah, apparently there's some folks out there that are bothered by it. They feel that maybe it gives too much attention to those that are breaking the rules. Or maybe they're the rule breaker and they did not like getting laughed at. But either way, they suggested that cheering for people who are late back to the ship is uncouth and rewards their lack of respect for the rules. Well, I wonder, is that true? Do people agree with it? Do people disagree with it? Does everybody think the same? Well, let's look at some results. And surprise, surprise, it turns out once again they are wrong. If I was to see somebody running down the pier so they didn't miss the ship, I would definitely cheer and applaud and have a giggle as they were running. Clearly beats out those that believe it is not the right thing to do. So the masses have spoken. If you're hanging over the side, cheering, leering, laughing, and joking at the pier runners, well, keep it up because it seems to be a popular choice for people to do. All right, next up, we're going to hit a controversial topic or one that people make controversial, but honestly, I don't think it should be. I think there's some things that people make a bigger deal of than is really necessary and is really required, especially when the solution is so simple and so easy that anybody can do it, even your biggest prude out there. And you may be wondering, what are we going to talk about? We are going to talk about breastfeeding babies. Now, just from my personal experience, if I'm recollecting correctly, years and years and years ago, you wouldn't generally see a mother breastfeeding a baby in a public area. To me, though, nowadays it seems like it's a lot more common of a thing to see. Right? You have a mother, you have a baby, baby gets hungry, baby gets some food. But there are definitely people out there that don't like change, don't like to move forward with the times, and you end up with the question or the statement that breastfeeding should be enforced only to be done in private and not in public areas. So on a cruise ship, you should run down to your cabin and only feed your baby there. Do you think everybody agrees with that? Do you think that is what everybody wants? Well, let's look again. And once again, surprise, surprise. Person making that statement is not in the majority because the majority of people have said, I have no problem with anyone breastfeeding in a public area on a ship, while only the minority believes it should be done in private wherever possible. Now, I'm going to give you a tip. I'm going to give you a trick for those that don't want to see it, for those that don't like it, for those that think it should only be done in private. You ready? I'm going to give you the almighty tip, trick, and secret to not having to do this. Ready? Look away. That's it. I'm going to show you one more time, just in case you missed it. Look away. That's it. End of story. Now, I love questions and statements that are full of entitlement. Who doesn't love one that says, I am diamond, I am platinum, and because of that, you should give me this. I want this. I should be entitled to this, and this special privilege should be for me. And this particular question, statement, comment is absolutely no different. There should be a separate gangway for diamond and platinum guests. Well, of course, you should have your own gangway. My God, you should not have to get on and off the cruise ship with those lowly blue cards. No diamond and platinum guest should ever have to associate with a person that only has a red card. They shouldn't have to walk the same gangway. They should have the diamond, platinum, encrusted gangway. And we can all agree to that, right? We all think that diamond and platinum should have their very own way on and off the ship. Uh-oh, what do you know? The majority of people have once again said, I do not believe there should be a separate gangway for diamond and platinum guests in port. What a shock. Apparently, not everybody out there has their nose so far in the air that they think they are above and entitled to more than every other passenger because they have had the opportunity to cruise more. Because let's be honest, at the end of the day, a person that's had the opportunity to reach diamond and platinum status means they have taken more cruises than somebody who hasn't reached that level yet. And so when they stick their nose in the air and they say things like, I should have my own separate gangway where my butler can bring me my sparkling water while I wait pier side because I am diamond and I am platinum, just means that you are turning your nose up at those who have not cruised as many times as you. So you're taking a opportunity, you're taking the ability to vacation more than somebody else and turning your nose up at them over it. But that's a small percentage. Itty bitty small percentage that do it like that. The majority of your diamond and platinum cruisers are there for the love of cruising. And the fact that they are diamond and platinum is the consequence of their love of cruising. They just like, I can't stop cruising. I love it. I'm going to keep on cruising. And the next thing you know, they're like, oh, look, I'm diamond too. I'm still ready and happy to just be cruising. But there's always the few. Next, we always have the subject of what should be shown on the giant screen on the Lido deck. Somebody's always demanding that their program, their choice, is what should be played, and of course, it's what everybody wants to see. We saw this over the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial. Someone said, everybody wants to see it. Well, it turned out they didn't. Someone's always demanding that their favorite game, their favorite team, their favorite show, a political event, whatever the case may be, should be on the big screen and everybody wants to see it. Sometimes they even claim they started a petition to have it put up on the screen. Now, whenever I hear that, though, my first question is, did you really take the time out of your vacation, out of your cruise, to run around and try to do a petition to have something put on the big screen? Was it really all that important? And how many people agreed with you and signed this? But you never know. Someone might have done it. At least that's what they claim. A petition for the election to be shown in November on the big screens on the Lido deck. So they've done a petition to put up the election on the Lido screen on Carnival cruise ships. Because we all know that that is what we are absolutely focused on our cruise vacation, is what the meatheads in Washington are doing. Because, yeah, they're for all the people, right? So do you think that everybody agreed with them? Do you think people signed this petition? Do you think there is a demand for this to be shown on the Lido? Well, we happen to have those results. Let's look. Well, I'm utterly shocked. The majority of people say, I absolutely do not think that this United States election should be broadcast on the big screen. And somehow it got mixed up with the question about playing pickleball. Well, those results there were a little screwy, but the majority of people, they didn't want to see it. They didn't want it up there on the big screen. I don't know who's all signing the petition, but look, people are on vacation. They are out there to unwind. They are out there to relax. They are out there to unplug. And I can at least speak for me and me alone. I don't want to sit on the Lido deck and watch anything about politics while I am on my cruise vacation. Now, I love those types of comments and those types of statements where they basically say, you do this, or I will go to another cruise line. And I have to ask the question, who believes that the cruise line goes, oh my God, they said if we don't change this immediately, they won't sail with us again? Does anybody believe that that's what the cruise line is doing? Especially when bookings are full, cruise ships are sailing at over 100% capacity. Does anybody believe that if you write in, if you don't change this thing right here, that, let's be honest, people don't want changed, I will go to another cruise lines, and then somehow believe that the other cruise line will go, oh, well, since you came to us, we'll fix it for you. Does anybody believe that? But not only do they say that, they say it over a subject that also creates controversy on board cruise ships. And what is that controversy? That is smoking on board a cruise ship, because this person believes that more smoking areas or I will go to another cruise line. So if Carnival doesn't create them more smoking areas, they will just go to another cruise line that, by the way, I've sailed the other cruise lines too, and they all have about the same. It's not like there's one of the ones sailing out of the United States anyway that has all these extra smoking areas on board that you're going to go to, or that you're going to go to another cruise line and make this demand and they are going to change it for you. But of course, this was put to the people. This was put to a poll. Should the cruise lines put in more smoking areas? Is that a demanded item? And what do you know? It is not a demanded item. The majority of people say, I do not think Carnival needs to introduce more smoking areas, with just a much, much smaller section there, saying Carnival needs to increase the number of smoking areas on every ship. So I guess the threat to go to another cruise line is all that you've got to offer. And to use a phrase from years ago, bye, Felicia, I'll never understand why cruise ducks really just bother some people immensely. Yes, people do bring little ducks on board cruise ships to hide for other people to find. They got little tags on them, say where they're from, where they've been. It's a fun game. There are tons of people that love to hide them. They love to find them. There's the whole group of people out there that hate that they're even there. But then there's this other section of folks over here who like to bring on the ducks. They like to hide the ducks. They like people to find the ducks. They just don't want it to be a damn crew member. For some reason, crew members should not be allowed to find ducks. They shouldn't be allowed to like them. They shouldn't be allowed to collect them. They shouldn't be allowed to touch them. And I don't get it, because what is wrong with a crew member finding a duck? Tiffany likes to take ducks and hide them on board cruise ships. The object of hiding it is that somebody will find it. Somebody will get joy from finding it, hopefully take it, keep it, and have a duck collection. So what difference does it make if the person who finds it, gets joy from it, and collects it is a guest or a crew member? Crew members are people too. But believe it or not, it bothers some people. Ducks for guests only again. And yes, it says again because this has been brought up before. This small minority of people that apparently don't like crew members finding ducks love to write this in. So the question is asked to the people: should ducks only be for guests? Should crew members be restricted and told, don't you touch a duck again? Is that what people really want? And survey says, let the crew take them if they wish. I know it brings some fun for them. Boy, that is a big, big majority over the very small amount of people that believe only guests should take the ducks and not the crew. There's some people out there that have very weird attitudes towards crew members. They don't want them to have ducks. I've seen comments where they don't believe crew members should be allowed to eat in the same place as passengers. Crew members are only allowed to eat in dark holes below deck somewhere. Some folks out there that got a weird perspective that believe crew members are there only to serve, not to socialize. And again, that's a small number of people. Majority of people have nothing but high praise and love for the crew members that make our cruising vacations great. I'm one of those ones that loves crew members. But boy, there's some people out there that just got the weirdest attitude towards crew members for whatever reason. And finally, we got one more for you today, and we're going to talk about things inside cabins. It's amazing how somebody writes in because there's something, let's say, in their cabin. It could be on the ship, it could be anything, where they will come out and say, look, people don't use this, people don't like it, people don't want it, it takes up unnecessary space. Get it out of there. I've seen one in the past where someone said there should be no refrigerators in cabins because they just take up space and nobody uses them. And usually when people say that, they're wrong. And just like in the case we're going to talk about today, guess what? Once again, they are wrong. I don't know where they get the information from. Where do they believe that most people don't do something when if you ask most people, they say they do? Most people do not use the safe and it takes up unnecessary space in the closet. So, we're going to talk about the safe because most people don't use it. You don't put your passports in there. You don't put your wallets, your jewelry, your valuables in there. You don't put your car keys in there. Nobody uses the safes to store valuables. That's crazy. That's insane. They're taking up space. Get them on out of the room, right? Isn't that what most people think? Now, based on the surveys we've already done, I'm pretty sure we've all got the good idea here right now that this person is probably wrong too. And wouldn't you know it, they definitely are wrong because the majority of people say, I always use the safe in the cabin, with very few people saying, I rarely or not at all use the safe in a cabin and agree it should be removed. Me personally, I am the person that uses the safe in the room each and every time. Because once I board a cruise ship, there's things that I carry that I will no longer need to carry the entire time I'm on that ship. So I throw in my passport, I throw in my wallet, I throw in my car keys because those are just items, you know what? I don't need this week. I'm on a ship. So I can honestly say I use the safe each and every time. And I definitely don't agree that it should be removed. All right, and that is going to be our survey answers, survey questions, and survey responses for today. Thought I'd try this out, see if you guys like it, see if it's something you guys are interested in, and ask the question, where do you fall in these surveys? Are you with the majority? Are you with the minority? Or maybe you're with the group that says, you know what, some of these people have just got way too much time on their hands to be bothering cruise lines over such trivial things. All right, and that is going to be our video for today. If you've enjoyed today's video, do me a favor and hit that like button. If you haven't done so yet, do me a favor and hit subscribe. It is free to do so. Helps our channel grow. Let you know anytime we put out a new video. Hope everyone out there is having a really great day and a really great weekend. And like always, we will see you out on the high seas.